I gotta send you a bottle of like Jack or something. You gotta drink some more manly drinks, bro. Moscato.
The first time I actually got drunk, it was off Jack and Coke. I was in Tokyo with a friend, and I had some sake at a little alleyway sushi place, which got me. I didn't like it so much, but it paired with the sushi, you know?
How old were you?
22, I think, something like that. It was a while back.
Were you one of those kids who was like, I'm not going to drink till I'm 21?
No, I was okay. So my aversion to drink before 21 was far more to do with my autism than it had to do with my moral abstemiousness. I couldn't really find a good opportunity to, because all the cool kids were doing their own thing. But
were you like the nerdy kid? Were you popular at all?
No, I wasn't that popular in high school. I was like the class clown archetype, really.
Do you ever have any like people who see how big you are now and hit you up like, oh, hey, we should collab on something?
I'm sure
bro.
you do. Why not?
It happens, but not from high school. In large part because like I went to Beverly High, so all the people there are rich anyway. You know, like they don't need to mooch off me for anything. A lot of those fuckers probably make more money than I do. Like,
dude, I'm shocked more people don't rip on you for that shit. Because you're pretty open about like growing up in Beverly Hills. I feel like if I was like a super right wing guy wanting to rip on you, that would be like my #1 thing.
I don't want to be accused of like trying to hide it or whatever. The funny thing is, the stuff like my parents aren't wealthy. But they went to Beverly Hills for the school district, which, to be fair, was fantastic. Same with the like safety of the neighborhood. But like they were like burning money to try to afford the rent, you know, and they still are. So it wasn't really about the wealth. The thing that really got me was the fact that my dad got into big tech, because he's in like a VFX work for Hollywood. So he's like really into like just anything having to do with computers, construction, like
he's
software.
Not like chained to a radiator having to work on Marvel movies, right?
Hell yeah.
You know, you want the non-joke answer to that? I mean, yeah, that's pretty much his job. The
VFX Marvel shit?
He's done Marvel shit. The VFX people don't have a union. He's been treated like shit by the industry.
Damn, bro.
I feel really
Marvel. You're directly responsible for Marvel movies, technically. Family bloodline
and DC movies. So he's on both sides.
Wow. I saw that there was like some trending clip from She-Hulk where she literally looks like a character from The Sims. You know what I mean? And
my dad didn't do any of those shots.
No. I'm not saying your dad was involved with that, but I remember that a lot of people were coming forward and being like, no, don't blame the animators for this. Blame fucking Marvel for like
100%.
Yeah,
I'll die on this hill. Every other fucking like subgenre of Hollywood movie production emerged before the Reagan admin. So back in like the 1930s and 40s, you have like fucking makeup artists and special effects artists who do like real life stuff, like setting off the actual explosives that they composite into movie scenes. They have unions. The VFX people don't, because in the 90s, when these computer-loving dipshits got together and started doing work for like Jurassic Park and Terminator 2, you know, these people are all fucking libertarians. Of course they are. They're all fucking white boys who love coding. They're all like, you know, we don't need unions. We can independently advocate for our own business interests based purely on the skill we can leverage.
Fools.
Fast forward 20 years, and there are plenty of VFX artists in India and Canada who can do the same work but cheaper. So now there's no fucking union, and now Marvel and all these other dipshits are like, oh yeah, we have like an entire movie where every single shot has 87 visual effects shots that you have to work on. Here's 6 months. And of course it looks like shit, because there's no one to fight back against that and say, no, fuck you. Give us the time to do this work. So it looks like shit, and these people get paid like shit, and I'm genuinely angry over it because my dad suffers for this. Anyway, people joke about the Beverly Hills, like Vaush Beverly Hills. I make 5 times what my dad did. My dad is in a very exploitative industry. I wish it was better for him, you know? Like, I'm the Beverly Hills now. Like, I wish people cared more about that Marvel shit. Never blame the animators.
I know. It's funny. You were talking about, like, oh, those fucking computer nerds in the 90s, but guess what? That's us right now, dude. We're the fucking
we're the computer nerds. Dude, I did see a
I also don't have a union.
I was laughing at that. I'm pretty sure it was one of your fans and not a troll, but someone was like someone did make a comment about how you're like a Beverly Hills boy. And I mean, you just said it yourself that it was like a nice neighborhood, right? I think that's safe to assume. And someone was like, actually, like, Beverly Hills is not that nice. Like, Vaush was growing up like very blue collar, like the neighborhood was like very sketchy, and I was just like, No, dude. Anytime I've had to go to Beverly Hills, it has been like fancy people.
Extremely nice.
Dude, I had to for one of my gigs. We had to. I feel like Vaush, you'll know this. I feel like you have fine tastes, but you know that like expensive luggage company, Ramoa.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't
had
own
to
any of their
go.
stuff.
Oh yeah, that's good. It's all cheap garbage, whatever. But it's like $10K for a suitcase. But the company I was working for before I decided to do YOLO full time and eat shit on my rent.
Let's go.
But I had to go pick up like 20 of these suitcases, and like I dressed like a slob. Everyone else there was like dressed in suits, and I like walked out of Ramoa with 20 suitcases wearing my disgusting sweaty short shorts and
yeah,
a
dude.
t-shirt.
Hell yeah.
Dude, and everyone was looking at me like, dude, who is this guy? A YouTuber? Who is this guy? How can he afford this shit? And I was
Technically,
just like,
yes. Technically, they
Okay,
were right.
yeah, technically.
Two things, okay? First of all, Beverly Hills is just a little chunk of Los Angeles, which broadly has a lot of bad areas. So I did spend a lot of time, like when I was older, walking around, like Skid Row, for example, which, holy shit, if you have money on you, don't walk through Skid Row, especially at night. Like, don't do that. This is very reasonable. Yeah, but
Are you
when
victim blaming?
hey, at fucking Skid Row, right off Union Station, you walk out there and it's like, Jesus Christ, you're walking into the threshing blades. But like when I was gotcha. No, it's fine. Just leave it on. When I was a little kid, the concept of bad neighborhood didn't register with me because in Beverly Hills, it can be 3 a.m. You can just walk down the street like forever. You're fine. If you're in Beverly Hills and it's 3 a.m., you can be like a chick in a skirt or whatever, and like you're probably fine. It's just too safe of a neighborhood. In a weird way, it's almost like idyllic. Like you'd think like I wish everywhere could be like that, you know? Yeah. That aside, oh god, no, I'm too lost. I'm gone.
Did your
Fuck.
brain just break? Yeah,
It did just break. There was another point there.
Happening,
you
bro.
saw, yeah. There was like a clunk.
You're like, wait a minute.
It was like
wait a
there was.
minute.
Oh,
you said you had 2 points.
yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah. Because I worked regular retail jobs when I was growing up, and one of them I worked at a little restaurant called Pickles, which doesn't exist anymore. It was an
You
Armenian
were
restaurant.
a server or in the back?
I was a server, and it was really, really good. The food there was so good. They had that like cheese that you grill, like you put the cheese on the grill.
Halloumi, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you can't get that shit in Beverly Hills. It's really fucking good. And anyway, I remember that because we're right next to Rodeo Drive. Like, you know, everyone knows it from fucking Grand Theft Auto 5, but like, you know, the insanely rich shopping area. And whenever I'd be asked to do deliveries to that area, like they'd make you go in the back. And they were very insistent about it. Like as a poor server, you literally have to go through the alley and then up and down this little like stair network to get in there. And like in my head, like I fucking hate these people because the people who accept the food are like workers on break, but they're workers for like Armani or something. So they're all wearing like a suit and they're like, thank you for your, and they like, you know, and you fucker, you're eating it. Like don't, just, you fucking, oh
Dude,
god.